Okay, today we're going to pick up where we left off last time. We're going to go through lists, source code, equations, and diagrams briefly in Quarto. So much like in Word, if you want to create a bulleted list, you need to start with a star key. So you'll use star, whatever you're titling that portion of your bulleted list. And then if you do sub items, you use plus marks. And if you want to do a sub item, you use a dash instead. Now, if you were to try this, and hopefully it should work just automatically for you, if you do the star key and hit space, it already creates the bulleted item for you, unordered list. And if you want to move into the next tier, you hit the tab key like you would say in a Word document. So then you're creating sub item 1, sub item 2, and then another tab takes you to the sub item 1, and so on and so forth. I recommend you do this along with me as we go through this tutorial together. In addition to unordered lists, you can have ordered lists. So maybe you want to do it numerically. It's just as what you'd think, same as it would be in Word. You do a 1, you type ordered list, or whatever you're putting first. And as soon as you hit return, it should give you the number 2, item 2, and then so on and so forth with sub item 1 and sub item 1. Say you need to insert a definition for a word or a phrase that is particular to your area of research, you can do that as well. So you just type term and hit return and hit colon, and that creates this vertical line, and then you can put the definition. At the end of this tutorial, I will hit render, and we can take a look at what this output will be in the form of a document. So stick with me. Now, if you want to use source code in your Quarto document, you would use the tick marks, 3 of them specifically, to delimit blocks of source code as such. It automatically creates this block of source code, but you can specify with these tick marks what language you want to use. So for instance, we want to use Python. You do 3, no space, type Python, and hit enter. And as you can see in this one, we've marked it as using Python. But let's say we want to use RStudio instead, or your R language, you do tick marks, R, it pops up there. And this is where this style of markdown is very robust because Pandoc supports syntax highlighting over 140 languages. So if you don't have one supported in Pandocs, you can use default as your language. So as such, and then you can begin your code. This is really nice as it's similar to Markdown. Instead of having these large amounts of source code and then breaks between, this is just a little bit more smooth looking. You have your sections of and blocks of code, but you can also then still continue typing with headers as if you would be publishing this document. If you prefer seeing it as a source code, you can click up here, source, and you'll get a better look at the nitty gritty of the entirety of your code. It looks a lot more messy. That's because it is. Now you can see this is a lot more eye appealing. Now, if you use HTML as your primary language, I'm not going to go into that much here, and I would suggest you go on quarto.org. They have sub-articles on exactly using HTML in this markdown situation. But we're going to move on to equations. Now, if you have scientific equations, mathematical equations, you name it, you can put it into your Quarto document using $ delimiters, a single one putting it inline, and 2 of them kind of centers it highlights it, makes it more of its own table. If you're typing up a document, oftentimes it's more eye appealing for the reader to kind of go through their text, understand what you're going through, and then see the subset of that equation. So in this instance, and we'll do this again, you can see the source code right here, $E equals MC caret, and then 2 in a soft bracket. And that output is as such. Down here, you can see you have dollar signs above and below. So that's also key. You need to have dollar sign, enter, E equals MC, caret, soft bracket 2, enter, dollar sign, dollar sign. And that'll center your display of the equation as such. And I think this is really cool. So go nuts with that. And there's probably more tutorials I'll go through in the future on getting more robust equations in the mix. Now, lastly, let's say you need a flow chart or a diagram. We can do that here in Quarto as well. Here we embed a flow chart created using Mermaid. You do the tick marks, you delimit it using the text Mermaid, and this is our flow chart from left to right. So part A with a hard edge, and I'll show you the output here in a moment. This is the last bit, so stick with me. Your box is going to have a hard edge, and the arrow is moving to B with a round edge. So your square is going to have rounded corners. B goes to C. This is your decision. This is going to make it a diamond. And from C, you have 2 sub options. See where you use C to D, C to E. You could do B to C and B to D, and you'd have a similar split. It's customizable this way, and I think that's really cool. So let's make it a little bit more tangible. Using Mermaid and from left to right, let's talk about photosynthesis and the flow chart that we might make with that. Sunlight to photosynthesis. Photosynthesis to the allocation of photosynthate. So that's the decision. Where is it going to be allocated? Well, the 2 brief outputs I put are for root growth or shoot growth. Now, if we want to see how this all is rendered, you hit render, and here is our viewer. We're going to start from the bottom just because it's fresh. Here's our flow charts, hard edge, round edge, decision, and your results. So here we have sunlight to photosynthesis, the allocation of photosynthate to root growth and to shoot growth. Moving up from here, we can see our equations are inline, or as you saw before. You can see our subblocks of code, and you can see how our lists are created. Definitions below the bolded term, your ordered lists, your unordered lists, and so on. And if you wanted to see the previous one, here's our elephant PNGs, your links, your headers, and your text formatting. Okay, we're going to continue moving forward. Tables have a whole nother realm of difficulty that I'm still working through, so stay tuned. Hopefully we'll get into tables in Quarto next time or in the next few videos.